If you're an Indian fan who's watched cricket through the 90s and whatnot, Sharjah is going to be known for a ground that tends to give you plenty of runs. That's not changed all these years later. We've seen 416 runs in an IPL game at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium, with Rajasthan Royals edging the Chennai Super Kings by 16 of those. Makes for a thrilling a full-time talk with Gautam Gambhir and Deepdas Gupta on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. It's a tale that's a bit familiar, Gautam, that we've seen in recent times. Looks to be a good chase, and then the fizz almost gets knocked out of it through a partnership that you're trying to make sense of. In the end, Faf du Plessis seemed to be a lone warrior standing, and MS Dhoni's innings and his big hits came a bit too late.
I was a bit surprised, to be honest. MS Dhoni batting at number 7 and sending Gaikwad before him and Sam Curran before him makes no sense to me. In fact, you should be leading from the front, and this is not what you call leading from the front. Batting at number 7 when you're chasing 213, and the game was over. Faf was probably the lone warrior. Yes, you can talk about MS Dhoni's last over, but it was of no use, to be honest. It was just for your own personal runs.
That's exactly the point, isn't it, Deep? If you needed someone to go your requiring rate is going from 12 to 13 to 15, and you have opportunities at the time when the second wicket did fall for MS Dhoni to potentially walk in, maybe at the fall of the third wicket. What did you make of it?
Well, listen, I completely agree. And listen, in the absence of someone like Suresh Raina, I thought start of the tournament, I thought he would be batting up the order at 4-5, trying to take control of the innings. But obviously, in the last couple of games, he has not batted top of the order. The other important thing is what I see in that whole template of that innings, that 20 overs, is there was always one guy who was going after the bowling. There's the other guy who's kind of holding the innings together or staying there. Then one guy gets out, then the other one starts hitting, and then things like that. So I believe even Faf, the first half of his innings, if you look at it, when Kedar was there, it was Kedar who's going after the bowling, and Faf was kind of giving him the strike. And then when Kedar got out, then Faf got into the act. So I think there is some kind of a plan there, it seems. Obviously, it didn't work. And chances are, when you're chasing down 216, that hitting from one end, and especially in the last 4 overs when the required run rate was close to 20 and over, it does not work.
Yeah, where would you have ideally liked to see him come? I can see the Sam Curran experiment. Perhaps you could say, all right, let's see if he can get a few quick runs, which he did, like he did in the first game. Was the ideal time at the fall of the Curran wicket for you, Gautam, for Dhoni to come in?
See, if someone else would have done this, some other captain would have batted number 7, I think he would have got a lot of flack, to be honest. It is only MS Dhoni, that's why probably people don't talk about it. But when you don't have Suresh Raina and you're making people believe that probably Sam Curran is better than you, and you're making people believe that Rituraj Gaikwad, Sam Curran, Kedar Jadhav, Faf du Plessis, Murli Vijay, and all these guys are better than you. Batting at number 7 makes no sense when you're chasing 213. There's nothing. I don't think that there's anything wrong if you end up getting out early. Yeah. At least you got to start leading from the front, trying to inspire the team as well. What you did in the last over, probably if you would have done that, coming at number 4 alongside Faf, or probably at number 5 alongside Faf, you could have made the game out of it. But probably there was no such intent to make a game out of it. I thought that after the 6 overs, they had actually literally given up the game. And probably MS was just trying to get back into that match rhythm of probably batting till the end and trying to get some runs under his belt so that he can actually play these kind of innings in the coming games as well. But then you got to stay in the present, try and win each game possible. I thought that probably there was no intent, honestly, to win the game. And they were never there in the chase. You can talk about Faf's inning, but Faf initially was struggling big time.
Yeah.
So I thought that it was probably absolutely miscalculation and probably not the right captaincy as well. This is not how probably you would ask someone like MS Dhoni or a leader to lead the side.
Yeah, at the end of it, Deep, they've fallen 16 runs short. If you look at it in hindsight, that's 3 hits away. A little more intent shown a bit earlier, and we could have had a heck of a chase.
Intent, especially in the first 6. I can understand maybe what they're trying to take the game to the end and everything else. But right at the beginning, I thought Murli Vijay going, run a ball, I think that was kind of a little surprising to me. Yes, you can try and manage the innings in the middle overs or later overs, but right at the beginning. But having said that, the other concern could be that it's just the second game of the tournament. You don't want to fall behind in terms of net run rate. Maybe that was a thought or not. Again, at times we've spoken about MSK as being very pragmatic, being very, very practical. And as Gautam mentioned, maybe they thought, it's going to be extremely difficult to chase down. Let's get as close as possible so that the net run rate doesn't look ugly or doesn't look bad. End of the tournament, that could be a factor as well.
See, honestly, I don't believe in it. A loss is a loss, and you don't get into all these things so early in the competition. Even if you're chasing 250 or probably 275 in 20 overs, you would just go all out. I would rather get all out for 100 than just giving up a chase straight away after 6 overs. Because straight away after the sixth over, I thought the game was over. They were never there in the chase. So this is not how you actually play the game. Yes, you can think about that can happen in the later half or in the middle of the competition if you've not really done well or you want that run rate and all that stuff to come up. But see, I think run rate is probably the last thing on your mind, especially in the initial phase of the tournament. You go out there to win. So probably if I would have been chasing 250, I would rather tell my team to just go and study, go and play. And even if you end up getting all out for 7,500, that really doesn't matter.
Yeah, what I want to ask you is, it looked like, even though we'd seen a large part of the game go by, it looked like Faf du Plessis was still trying to go for it. Every ball, when you need 15, 20 and over, he was trying to hit every ball for a boundary and managed to, incredibly enough. Were you seeing the same intent from MS Dhoni, or were you not? Was it a case of him trying to hit out and not being able to, or was the intent just not there? That's for both of you. Gautam, you first.
As I just mentioned it to you initially, that this was the ideal game for MS Dhoni to come and bat at number 4.
Yeah.
Ideal game. The stage was set, small ground, flat wicket, not the greatest of attack apart from Jofra Archer, 2 leg spinners, yes. But then MS Dhoni should have batted at number 4 and probably should have shown more intent and should have shown more intent to the entire squad as well. MS batting at number 7 as a leader, where you're chasing 213. Well, the game was over there and then. If you had already decided in the dugout that I'm going to bat after Sam Curran and Rituraj Gaikwad, if you expect Rituraj Gaikwad to chase or Sam Curran to chase 230 when you yourself are sitting in the dugout, I don't think so. There was enough intent, not only in the middle, but even in the dugout.
All right. That's settled. Yeah, please.
No, I mean, listen, I understand where Gautam is coming from, and I understand that part. But also the fact that, I mean, if I'm looking at CSK and I'm saying, 14 games, first 7 games or first 6 games, got to be a little cautious because your strength is spin. You know that you are in your zone when you are playing a 150, 160 game, right? So I think that's more of a long-term plan. And I know Gautam does not agree with this, right? Not that I'm saying that I agree with this, but I'm saying this could be the plan. Looking at the whole tournament, say, listen, first half, let's try and win as many as possible. But second half should be our half of the tournament. And that's where, when the spinners come into the picture, when we are playing 150, 160 games, that's where we need to make the most of it.
See, if CSK is thinking on those terms, all the other teams would be thinking on the same lines as well. And there is no surety that if the first half doesn't belong to you, the second half will surely belong to you. It's each and every game, day in, day out. You want to try and win and try and qualify for the playoff as early as possible. You don't want to leave it till the end as well. And that is how I've always played the game. That is how I have always believed in playing the game as well, that you got to try and win each and every game possible and show the intent. See, you will win some, you will lose some. But the intent and just going out there and showing that, yes, we are coming after you is something which will actually probably try and put some fear in the opposition as well. Because today what happened, or what I saw was, if you can get 200 against Chennai, there won't be enough intent.
All right, brilliant. Let's speak of another period of play that perhaps sealed the game in Rajasthan's favor even before MS Dhoni came out to bat, and that was the impact of the spinners. Rahul Tewatia, Gautam was of high words of praise for him before we went on air and before the game came on, and he proved to be he ended up bowling exactly what you called at halftime. Something that you didn't see from Chennai's bowlers, Gautam. Chawla and Jadeja guilty of tossing it up. You saw Tewatia and Shreyas Gopal bowling it more into the wicket, and it paid off handsomely.
See, there wasn't enough turn on the wicket, Ronak. If you see, there wasn't enough grip, but at least they were not bowling in those areas where you could actually just stand there and deliver what Sanju Samson did or some of the other batters did. They actually were bowling into the stumps and trying and making batters hit off the back foot. The dismissal of Shane Watson, it wasn't in his arc. He was just trying to push it through. And even the dismissal of Murli Vijay, that was a short ball, but then at least he had to do something. He had to manufacture a shot off the back foot, which is never easy. But look at what Sanju Samson did against Ravindra Jadeja and Piyush Chawla. He just stood there and went through the line. So that was probably the easiest sixes as well because they were looking to toss the ball up, and that was the difference. Yes, Rahul Tewati also went for runs. Sam Curran was able to hit him for 2 or 3 sixes, but again, eventually he got him out as well just by bowling into the wicket. So that is something which we were talking about, and the speeds were very important. They were pretty accurate, looking to attack the stumps. That if you miss, there's an opportunity of an LBW or probably a bold or a stump. And Sam Curran had to step out and take that risk. Sanju Samson never did that. So that is something that CSK spinners needs to learn, especially when they play in Sharjah.
Yeah, you'd think that they might have seen what they saw in the first innings of Chawla and Jadeja Deep and learned something, but then Chawla and Jadeja are the more experienced spinners than Shreyas Gopal and Rahul
Yeah,
Tewatia.
that's the reason it's surprising. And to be very, very honest, that's Piyush's and Jadeja's strength as well. They generally don't bowl like that. They generally hit the pitch a lot harder. They're quicker in the air. Very rarely do you see Piyush Chawla and Ravindra Jadeja bowling full to the batsman. So that's the reason it was more surprising. But you know what? On one side, yes, when you have 215 or 16 to defend, bowling becomes a little easier. But credit to the young man that it was a test of temperament. He did the basics right. I was looking at the pitch map. The pitch map was 70+% of those deliveries were bowled there, and almost everything was hitting the stumps or near to the stumps. I think that's what you need to do because as Gautam was also mentioning, on surfaces like these, which are so good for batting, as a bowler, you try and hit the stumps as much as possible. If the batsman misses, you always have that chance.
And
All right.
was that there was MS. Most surprising was that there was MS behind the stumps as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sure MS must have had a word with both Piyush and Jadeja, and despite of that, obviously they just didn't change their length and even the line as well. They just kept pulling in that arc and probably kept getting hit for those big sixes as well. So that was a bit of a surprise, and I'm sure MS will be very unhappy with both the spinners, and I'm sure he will have a really, really strong talk with both the spinners.
Yeah, not a great day in the office for the Chennai Super Kings, but Rajasthan Royals have made a serious impression on their first appearance in this year's tournament. Gautam, for those that perhaps were writing them off too early, RCB showed yesterday they start the tournament well that anything can happen. But Rajasthan Royals, they've got something about them, and today's game just further amplifies that.
And Ronak, it's really good because a lot of teams have not given any chance to Rajasthan Royals for that matter, even RCB. So it's good that RCB has won the first game, Rajasthan has won the first game. So the competition just becomes more intense. There has always been talk about Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians, SRH, KKR, Delhi. But if you see the other sides, Punjab, RCB and Rajasthan, there have always been underdogs. So it's good to see even Punjab for that matter. They played a very good game. Obviously, it was a little bit unlucky from that short run point of view. But then if you see all the three sides, which are probably the most low profile sides, they've actually played the first game really well. So it's good for the competition. And I think this competition will be even more exciting going forward.
And this Rajasthan team, Deep, is only going to get better when Josh Butler joins it and when Ben Stokes, you think, at some point joins it as well.
Yeah, they're only going to get better. They're only going to get better. I'm so happy for Rajasthan Royal 1 and especially for Sanju Samson because, listen, he started off this tournament, he's bossed the bowling, right? Now he has to make this tournament his own. He has to make this start count now. And this could well be his tournament because there's also a lot of responsibility. He's again not a youngster. He's been around for a while. It's time he takes that responsibility and come to the forefront.
I'll tell you what will happen at the end of this game. There'll be a few batsmen checking how many games they've got at Sharjah now in all excitement. What happened in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, checking the fixtures list again. But we hope to have many more appearances.
I'll tell you what. Okay, I'll break it to you guys. Every team's got 3 games. No, nothing more, nothing less. 3 games for everyone.
So Rajasthan and Chennai will be the happier team, especially from the bowlers' point of view, that they've only got 2 more games left.
Gautam Gambhir, Deepdas Gupta, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us on ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. We'll be hearing more from Gautam and Deep on post-match analysis on the site, and do check in every day 7 p.m. IST for pre-match build-up. And we'll see plenty more of you on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.